Very cool.
Dove is pretty much good at talking his way out of a problem, and if he can't talk it out, punching through whoever it is that doesn't want to talk it out. So,
Nice. I love it. Um, Give me a Dove. Why don't you give me a Streetwise?
ooh, I actually have skill in that.
And then if you can, so let's think here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in a little bit of what's kind of cool about this game is that, not only are you rolling your skill, but you're also going with the attribute that goes with it. But you can also bring in crossover skills. I'm just taking a look at your skill
That's
set here. Oh, wow. Never mind.
Mm.
Wow. So as you can see there, folks, that's a 6 and a 6 and a 6. That's really good. Those
So
are
have
some
streetwise abilities.
Shadowrun
Let's
level
see.
things. Is that something that you also have there, Miranda?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I rolled it. Yeah, let's see.
I if you want to do the number crunchy business, Streetwise goes off of the presence, and presence is basically your charm and whatever like that.
There we are.
It's basically this game's version of charisma.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so I have one
Well-
point. I have 1 point in Streetwise, and then my presence is 2. So that got me 3 dice.
That,
Right,
I clearly I'm missing a stat here because I have 0 d6s. Let me go fix that.
Well, no, for the black die, that kind of thing, you didn't have.
Oh, yeah,
any.
but on the white too. Oh, there's 1. Okay, there it is. Okay,
Yeah.
good. That's better.
Yeah, you got a 3 and a 4, so yeah, unfortunately, no
that's all right.
successes there.
No worries.
No problem. So, Dove, because of your background of who you are as a Roshan bear, you know that there has been some unrest in relation to a particular bill that's being passed along the House of Commons and going into the House of Lords right now. And it was on one of those news clippings I sent out. Do you recall what that was about?
Conscription.
Yeah. And it seems that sometimes there is rumor of mob activity that occurs in some of the higher neighborhoods, and it's possible that this might be related.
Well, I think that I'm gonna, based on that, I think I would recommend that I literally look to the lieutenant, and Dove will never use your rank. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Dove's gonna look at you and go, Blackwell, go to the alley. This is not your place. The rest of you can come if you want, but I'm going that way.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Do you have any idea how inconvenient this is?
Of course it's inconvenient. Do you know of a single mob that is ever convenient?
People in
No.
mobs get injured and then they wail for doctors, causing interminable delays.
Dove, what is your interest in this in getting involved in this brouhaha?
You tell the poor they will fight for the rich. That never goes over well. To these people, I am either hero or I am one of them. The rest of you, I cannot speak for that. Let me speak to whoever I can talk to. Perhaps get some kind of knowledge about what the group is looking for. But right now, I have a funny feeling that if they see our noble friend here, he will be the one that gets strung up.
Good point.
Yeah, and I'm in no interest to get strung up this evening, so I'll defer to your better judgment in this, Dove.
Okay.
Some
All right.
fools start throwing rocks, other fools stand in front of them, and I'm expected to sew them all back together. Fine. If we're going to do this, let's get it over with.
So who's going with who?
Dr. Phil's going with Dove.
Okay.
I
then-
think
right.
Miranda would stay with Blackwell.
Okay.
There's not much she can do in the middle of a mob.
Right. I hear
Not
that.
really.
That's
At
funny.
least it wouldn't be pleasant for anybody.
I don't think so. Yeah. Probably not.
Is there any positions we could take up, like a rooftop or something like that we can get to kind of watch what's going on and maybe cover their backs if they need
Yeah.
it?
I'd be happy to go to scout down the nearby alleys like we were discussing earlier.
The scouting down alleys may be possible. And that's just kind of thinking from the standpoint of how the streets are set up in this area. In
Sure.
Kensington,
Yeah.
there's a lot of roundabouts and turns. It's not entirely just a grid system. However, there is kind of a rhyme or reason to it just simply because these are the standard safe cart paths that have been trod for time memoriam for the
Okay.
nobility in this area. So, so yeah, I
Not
mean, you
really.
could kind of sneak up on the area, but as far as rooftop, that type of thing, the only closest thing you would get to is from that picture that's actually on the on roll 20 is that church that's right there. You could probably
Sure.
get up into the tower if you can barter your way in with the clergy that's there, and maybe see 2 or 3 blocks over. But again, it's nighttime, it's raining.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll probably just stick to the alleyways.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So let's do this then. Who has hide and seek amongst the two of you, Miranda
Hide and
and the good
seek.
lieutenant?
I don't have the hide and sneak,
I don't think so.
but I do have the dexterity. I don't know if that.
Well, your dexterity skill helps.
It is. It's a
And it
common
is
skill.
yeah, and it's a common skill. So, I mean, you can use it just based straight off of your dexterity.
And I have the agility
That-
talent too. I don't know if that.
Is that conceal or is that something totally different?
Conceal is kind of more about hiding
Hiding
things
a
on
thing.
your person,
Okay.
hiding.
Okay, yeah. So
Conceal is hiding a thing. Hide and seek is hiding you.
Right,
Gotcha.
exactly.
okay. So no, I don't have that in my little stats, but we can figure out how to roll it.
Okay. All right, so let's do this. We'll take a look at the old rule book here. Look out! We're gonna do rules. We're gonna do rules. Look out! Let's see
That
here.
is why we do these, after all.
That is right. That is right. So let's see here. So I'll go over to for those at home. I'm heading into the main rule book here, and I'm going to take a look at a couple of things involving skills. And now, from what I understand here, you can go ahead and roll your dexterity in place of that.
I should
Let's
have
see
good
here.
on that.
Common
Let's see here.
skills.
And
Still not sure I understand fully how all this dice rolling works, but I'm trying to catch on.
Right.
Let's see here.
Now,
Dex-
as far as difficulty goes, this one is going to be 2 difficulty because there's a couple things that you're working on here. Number one is you're trying to move through these side streets and everything quietly, not just to avoid I'm assuming not to just avoid whatever the
Mhm.
kerfuffle is going on up ahead, but also to avoid being noticed by the residents of said homes.
Yes.
So there's kind of a combination, and you guys can work together to help one another. So I don't know who has the better dexterity.
So I have 2 points in dexterity.
I do as well, and I also have like I just said, I have the agility. I don't know if that comes into play here. It's a special talent that gives me some kind of bonus to the dexterity.
I think. Let's see
Okay,
here.
let's take a look at what that does.
We took a lot of the same abilities.
I can add 2 dice to any athletic and stealth rolls.
there you go. This would be
Okay.
a stealth roll.
So what we can do is working together is go ahead and have Miranda roll first. So I'll have you roll your dexterity. Difficulty die I'm gonna say is it's gonna be a 2 black die, just to kind of help avoid notice.
So is that the skill and attribute test?
Mm-mm.
Yep, you can do that.
Okay, so then I would am I putting in 2 there for skill?
Skill would be 0 because you said
Zero.
you don't have any hide and seek or hide
Correct.
and sneak.
Correct, but I have
That's
2
0.
dexterity. Okay.
Now-
Attribute is 2.
Now, something to also consider too before you roll is that for common skills, you are also allowed to add your dice pool when using them, but you can also add 1 or 2 dice to your dice pool before you make the roll each time you use a common skill, which
For every die you add another
right.
black die.
The only problem is that you add another difficulty die, another black die to it. So if you needed to add some other dice and you want to kind of let the chances roll, you could do so, or you can just stick with the 0, the 2 for your dexterity, and then the 2 for the black dice.
Okay. So when I did skill and attribute, it said skill 0. So I hit submit on that,
Yep.
and then attribute I
Attribute
put 2. And submit again.
Black dice 2.
Oh, because that's the difficulty. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, so
There you
that
go.
we got 4, and
You got 2 black successes.
2 black successes, no white successes.
Okay.
Ouch.
So how I'm going to kind of work
They
this for...
know you're there.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that I'm having Miranda roll first so I can determine if she's going to be a help or a hindrance to Lieutenant Blackwell as he leads the way. So,
I think that
unfortunately...
that's been answered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
clearly.
she's going to be a hindrance. So, what that's going to turn out for you, Lieutenant Blackwell, let's see here. I will be fair, and I will say it's going to add an additional black die to you. So that's going to be 3 black dice
Okay.
on your difficulty. So you can...
just imagine you literally
Now the other... Yeah, that's right.
I somehow
Now-
tripped and sprained an ankle or something. I don't
Here's
know.
where we can also do this, is that there is a modifier function that's in there, right? So you have your skill, your attribute, and then a modifier. That modifier can be other skills that you can kind of, to use a burning wheel term, you can fork into this roll. And you said that you had tactics,
Right.
correct? And
That's a specialty.
right now, although it does apply to combat, you are trying to avoid said combat, or at least approach in a tactical fashion. So I'd say that we can go ahead and you can bring those dice into bear as well. So just the
Okay.
skill number that you
For the
have,
skill number.
and not
So
the
my
attribute.
okay, the skill would be if I give myself the 2 dexterity or 2 agility plus the tactics, which is 4, so that would be a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Plus my 2 dexterity, right? That would be the
Right, you only want to add your dexterity once.
yeah.
In
So I'm
this
going to
case,
add
yeah.
2 for the dexterity, and then 3 black dice.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And I get a 0. Well, I get a 1
So you got 1 success there,
and 2
black die
failures.
success.
So,
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So
so
we'll see
we are
how that,
seen.
so we'll see how that shakes out here in a second. So Dove and Dr. Loom, you guys are moving straight towards the said kerfuffle. Is that right?
And as we're going along, I just look down at him and go, "I'll do the talking."
Slow down, would you? Have you ever known a dwarf who could move fast?
All right, so you guys make your way 3 blocks down, and you approach the. It becomes apparent that the glow that's hitting the sky right now is from the assorted torches that are lit by a group of roughly 20 to 25 individuals that are all kind of sparked up into kind of a froth, as it were. There are a lot of the catchphrases that you have probably heard around town that are unique to the Bolshevist movement, which is a labor movement within the area or within London that is really seeking towards kind of economic equality in the city. It's definitely an uphill battle because they're going up against 1,000 or so years of steadfast social casting. So a difficult time, as it were. Now, as far as the mob itself, let's take a look here.
Well, the big question I have is, my local hero wouldn't necessarily come into play because this isn't my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have a funny feeling that most of these people don't live in this neighborhood. So
Right.
my one question is there anybody I know here?
How could we assess a chance like that? I wonder. Let's see. I will do this so I can at least get into the rolling as well. Let's see here. Roll 1d20. And let's see here. Odds 115. Tier lower. All right. There is. Well, let's see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out as you guys. So, how are you approaching? And I can describe the scene as you come across it. So, you're coming up on the 3 blocks down, and then over to the right, you see the gathering of people, and in the haze of the rain and the fog that's just so prevailing at this time of night in London. You can see the shapes of people moving back and forth, and like the torches are moving up and down with vigorous drama. And obviously you're hearing the shouts of people. There's one person that's shouting that seems to be above all the rest, and might be kind of the leader of said person. And then a motorcycle goes by.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's perfect. It's ambiance, right? So yeah, normally, I mean, everybody here will know. Normally, Kensington is a quiet neighborhood. It's upper class homes that, not set out in that kind of, estate setup. It's more of like your brownstone type of setup,
Right.
where you have homes alongside one another. But in this particular area, there's a larger cross street that's almost like an old time square, town square that might be found outside of London, but right now it's just a thoroughfare. But tonight, however, it's devolved into basically an unruly circus. There's an angry mob that's there that you can hear. So I'll get from you guys, Dr. Loom and Dove, how are you approaching the area?
I'm pretty much under the assumption that these guys are going to treat me. Well, they won't care about me because they think that I'm part of it.
Okay.
That is especially true if there is no one I know here. They won't. They really won't think that I'm anything.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna kind of make my way. I don't want to be like in the crowd because I don't want to get stuck, but I kind of want to get a little bit past the fringes because I want to know if there's a leader, if there's one clear voice that's kind of driving it. I want to know what in particular they're going for.
Okay. Cool.
Because if they're just here to meet, then that's one thing. But if they're like burn the rich people, I'm gonna be like, all right, no.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. And Dr. Loom, how are you attending this?
Dr. Loom is irritated and out of breath.
But are you following close behind Dove?
As close as he can with his stunty little legs.
Okay. All right.
He has no particular plan. It's just that the company of the bear is marginally preferable to the military.
To not the company of the bear.
That's right.
The military stick in the mud and that strange foreign woman.
Nice. So you guys approach, and as you're getting in there, you hear that one clarion voice that's above all the rest, that's shouting. Basically, let's see here. How would I be going? You come in mid-sentence as this person is shouting and just saying, "You and your children will be throwing away your lives so that your betters and their children can get their spices at lower cost. Is that what you're here to do? Are you here to bleed the ground red in Crimea just so that you can have better trade routes?" And then people are shouting back, "No, no," again in that response to it. And you see the person as you're kind of going through that haze and the fiery halo of the mob gathered. You see a person, kind of a slim figure that's dressed up like a toy soldier, almost like somebody from the Nutcracker Suite, if you wanted to get a picture of that. In fact, to the point where they have a white porcelain mask that's over their face. And everybody shouts, when he asks, shouts these questions, they're shouting back, "No, no, Tommy Atkins, that's not what we want." And Tommy Atkins is a common nickname for British soldiers. Now, among the crowd, interestingly enough, you do see folks who are dressed, like in peasant garb, that sort of thing, or lower caste garb, like with your beanie hats or not beanie hats, but the golfer hats type thing, and heavy coats, that sort of thing. But among them, there are some who look like they're wearing disheveled British military uniforms. So, interestingly enough, so. That's what you guys see as you're coming across. Now, let's flash over to Lieutenant Blackwell and the erstwhile Miranda Russell. So you guys are kind of circling your way into the area. So are you, again, like where you guys were situated at the street, it was straight down 3 blocks and then 1 block to your right, roughly. That's kind of how Dr. Lumen had narrowed it down. So are you guys swinging out to the left and then moving up further north and coming back, or are you going to the right and circling in? What's your approach vector.
I would think we'd be going right and then circling back in because that would bypass the mob, I would think. But
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you actually do bypass the mob as you're coming in. However, as you're moving down one alley, and fortunately, Miranda like steps on a twig, or kicks over a box or a crate or something, and
screams at a mouse or something.
right, Lieutenant Blackwell looks back to So what would you do at that point if she had made such a noise? I mean, are you gonna reprimand her, or what would you do?
I would
She's
give her.
she's not screeching over a mouse. I'll tell you that. She
Okay,
kicks
okay. So I would just give her a stern look and like give her a signal to be quiet, but no dialogue or anything like that.
All right. So as you do that, as you look back and you're kind of letting her know, hey, take it easy here. You're gonna end up messing things up for us. Unfortunately, your distraction to that end, you come out of, you're about to emerge from the alley, or at least get to the corner, when you hit an iron gate grating, and I guess somebody who lives in the house that's on the left side of the alley had forgotten to close it entirely, this little iron gate, and you push it closed with a loud clang. And up at the mouth of the alley, you see a light come back towards the alley and shine down right at you guys.
Okay.
Hey, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? Are you with that mob? Come over here. And as the light dips down briefly, you see the shining of a badge
Okay.
on his shirt. And we'll take a break right there, and come back on the flip side of that. So stay tuned, guys. We will return shortly.